Welcome to episode 3 of the Outdoor Cameraman Experience. Today, we have Jake Latendresse, myself, Jess DeLorenzo, and we'll have a special guest, Sam Soholt, with us. The beginning of the show, I think we're going to talk about traveling with our gear, the logistics of getting things places, the type of packs and cases we use, and all the little nuances of trying to get in and out of airports with all your stuff intact. And then about halfway through the show, we'll bring Sam in and hear what he's been up to and talk about his latest trip and his bus. Jake here is, he's actually a traveling outdoor cameraman today. He's at, what airport are you at right now?
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee at the BNA Nashville International Airport, getting ready to catch my flight back to Denver. I've been on Kentucky Lake with Bassmaster Elite this weekend filming Bassmaster. So yeah, this is sorry about all the noise. If there's a bunch of background noise from the airport, I'm really sorry, but
If anybody hears Jake missing his flight, somebody comment that so he gets going.
if I vanish from the screen, that means I'm missing my flight and I have to get through security.
Nice. So you were doing Bassmasters all weekend. I'm assuming you had to bring some stuff with you. How did that go?
Yeah, well, typically when I film for Bassmaster, we have broadcast live streaming cameras on a camera trailer, so I don't have to bring too much. I usually travel with a DSLR so that I have something to film with as backup, or if I need to take photos when I'm on the boat, get a different perspective, then I have it with me. But normally it's ironic that we're talking about this because of today's show. We're going to be talking about traveling and with gear and packing gear and stuff like that, which is not always the most logistically easy thing to do. Yeah, that's it's funny that I'm traveling today, and that's what the show is going to be all about today.
Cool. So when you are packing, not for Bassmasters, for your other trips, are you typically bringing your cases on? Like, are you carrying on? Are you checking your gear? What are you doing there? Because I hate checking anything.
Well, it's funny that you bring that up because many years ago, I think it was about 10 or 12 years ago, I was traveling to Orlando, Florida to film some turkey hunts, and I checked a big Pelican case because it was, I didn't know any better, and I checked it. I had TSA locks on it. I thought everything was safe, and I traveled from Denver through Greensboro, North Carolina, down to Orlando. And when I got to Orlando, I grabbed my Pelican case off the baggage claim belt, and it felt super light. So I took the TSA locks were on it. I had some zip ties on the outside locking plates, and they were gone. I noticed they were gone. So I took the TSA locks off. I opened my Pelican case, and everything was totally gone, like baggage handling with U.S. Air. I don't know what happened to it, but somebody had a master key lock for the TSA locks that I had. They opened it and stole everything out of there. So, and I did, again, have insurance on that, so I was able to replace everything, but I was stuck in Florida for 10 days without a camera. So I ended up not getting any content, not getting paid, and all that. It was a mess.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
yeah, those TSA locks, I mean, I would assume if you didn't know any better, you're putting this TSA lock on thinking, well, now my gear is safe. That's not the case at all. Anybody can get into those, basically. If you have a key to a TSA lock, you can unlock just about every lock.
Yeah, and you would think that, security would be a little bit tighter than that, but for whatever reason it wasn't. So I lost all my gear ever since that day, and as we both do, we both travel a lot. I carry all of my camera gear on the plane with me in either a hard case and a backpack, or two backpacks. And, sometimes I'll bubble wrap battery chargers and some cheaper audio equipment and things and extension cords and power strips and things like that. I'll put that in my check bag because I can afford to lose that stuff. But otherwise, I carry all my hard equipment on with me. And typically what I carry is a backpack, an actual camera backpack made by Lowepro. And I carry a Pelican case 1510, the 1510 model.
Let me pop that up.
is the only model that is designed to pass the
The carry-on
carry-on
specs.
luggage size specs. Yes, so if for all you guys out there that are planning on traveling in the future with your camera gear or whatever it is, if you get a Pelican case, a hard case for it, then get the 1510 because that's the only one they'll let you carry on a plane.
Yeah, I have the same exact model. I love it. I use it for everything for outdoors, plus my wedding photography business. And I have some neat dividers, some accessories and stuff to fill it up. However, just because it passes the carry-on specs does not mean that I don't always get hassled bringing it on the plane. I usually have to have it checked by the TSA at the X-ray machines, who they open it up and they go through everything. I mean, if they see wires and batteries, they're usually very inquisitive, which is completely fine. And as long as you're compliant, it usually goes pretty quick. But I think that it's important to tell everybody that moving around with electronics and camera gear and batteries usually puts a big target on you to have everything opened up, gone through, ransacked, and checked. So you have to get like really, like I have like a system. It's almost like a robot. When they open everything up, I give them the stuff, I get back, I slide to the end of the conveyor belt, put everything back in really quick and try to get back moving. But yeah, that's the best case that I found. It's the most protective. I've watched the luggage guys just literally throw it into the plane. And so far, everything has come out damage-free, which is good. And you can lock it up. They've got lots of the little ports on the sides of the cases, which is nice too. So if you're traveling from the airport, at least you know your stuff is pretty safe if you're leaving it in the trunk of the car or something like that too.
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I carry a hard case and a soft backpack is so that I can use like the 1510, the Pelican case there. I'll use it as a table sometimes. If I'm in an airport, I sit down on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I can put my coffee on it or eat on it or put my laptop on it, use it as a table. Also, sometimes depending on, how the ticket lady is feeling that day, sometimes if they have too much luggage, carry-on luggage in the crowd, they'll stop me and say, "You're going to check that," and then I'll go,
Mm-hmm.
"No, we're not," and she'll say, "Yes, we are. I'm not. This isn't an option." So, in that case, one of the reasons again why I carry a hard case is that if they do require me to gate check that one of my bags because they don't have enough overhead space, then I put TSA locks on that Pelican case, and then they'll just gate check it from gate to gate so I can pick it up and it doesn't go through baggage handling and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But the hard case protects everything because just like you said, they're going to be throwing that thing around. They don't know what's in it. They don't care what's in it.
No.
And the hard case protects everything. And typically, when you open the top on the 1510, you can either get the foam pad insert or, and I apologize for not having a picture of the inside of the top, but I forget what model it is. I think it's the 1520 maybe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's a mesh
The
pocket
mesh net, yeah,
insert.
with
Exactly.
zippers.
It's like $20. You buy it, you screw it into the tabs in the top of the case. So when you open it up, you have all these little compartments. That's where I put batteries,
Mm-hmm.
my lens cloth, my lens wipes, my audio equipment.
Granola bars.
Yeah, granola bars, flashlights, all those little things that can get thrown around inside your Pelican case. And it just gives you, even if it's 2 inches of extra space in that top, that really comes in handy. And as you can see, typically I put all my batteries in the hard case so they're not getting thrown around and
Mm-hmm.
smashed and all that stuff. I can typically put an extra camera body like a 5D Mark IV in one of the top slots on my audio and maybe an extra lens or two. Then I use my soft case to carry another DSLR body and all my expensive audio equipment and just other little accessories that I need to carry with me. So two bags come in
Yep.
handy.
I always I've come accustomed to leaving extra space in my soft bag. I carry a backpack typically, similar. to what you use. And I just always leave a little bit of space in there so that if I do have to rearrange things or I'm caused to check something, and I don't want to have all of my equipment in one place at any given time. So I'll have a body in one bag and a body in the box and a lens in one bag and a lens in the box. That way, just in case, God forbid, something happens, I show up to a location, I can still shoot something.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like splitting your money into two places. If someone steals half of it, at least you still have some
Yeah.
to get home or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always carry my passport, my ID, my personal items in my backpack because I double strap it onto my shoulders when I'm walking through airports or, through public places. When I get, out of the airport and I have to travel to go get a rental car or whatever it is, I always have that strapped on for security reasons. That way, no one can come by and you hear tales about people coming by and spilling hot coffee on you or putting $100 bill down on the ground. You reach over to pick it up. There's another guy waiting to grab your camera bag, and off he goes, and boom, you're done. So I'm always thinking about security and all that, not just protection as well.
So your soft, I think I can keep circling through these photos here. Your soft pack, here's another picture here. This is the one I use actually outside all the time, which is not technically a camera bag. It's the Sitka tool bucket, and inside there they've got sleeves and just like these perfect little compartments to hold lenses, and I can fit 2 bodies, several lenses, tons of batteries, a camera or a tree arm for my camera inside that. And it's actually pretty darn durable and protective, and it's super comfortable with the frame in the back as well, because that can add a lot of weight, especially if you're hiking around. So this is typically the bag that I use, and it fits as a carry-on as well, no problem. Usually fits in the overhead and slides underneath the seat. So when the stewardess or the TSA is like, that's not going to fit under the seat, you can't take it, I'm like, watch me, and stick it under there. So that is a bag that I use a lot. And then if we're doing something, here's a shot where I slide my lenses in, and those sleeves also fit my 7200, so I can put my telephoto lenses in there as well, and it keeps them from banging around as I'm walking, or like if the plane's jostling or something like that, at least you don't have your equipment banging together. It's not designed for a camera, but I have found that it works great for me. And then I can just slide that over my shoulders and then wheel my Pelican down the little airport walk. So that works out good. And then for a waterproof option, again, I don't use a specifically designed waterproof camera bag. I'm using my Simms fishing bag, and inside there I just have a couple lens pouches to organize, and this zips up a watertight seal. So if I'm going on a fishing trip or going to do something out on a boat, I'll usually bring this backpack as one of my carry-ons, and then just keep everything sealed up tight in it, and works great, especially if stuff's splashing around. Just lay it in the bottom of the boat and I don't have to worry about anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think it's important to talk about the non-specific backpacks because we're often doing things. You travel to go fly fishing and you do different things. So you carry these packs because you may need this pack for different reasons, or, someone out there may not want to go buy a $300 pack specifically for camera gear. So, we should talk about protecting your camera gear inside of these normal backpacks. When I go on sheep hunts or mountain goat hunts, I always carry an Osprey pack with me. And since I don't have a specific padded camera bag, what I'll do is wrap, you always carry rain gear or an extra jacket or whatever, gloves or beanies or whatever it is. So I take the clothing that I have in my backpack and wrap my gear inside of that to protect it so it doesn't get banged around. And it's essentially just as good as, backpack. You have to be a little bit more organized if you have to know where everything is.
Like
but
Tetra.
I think over time, you start doing it the same way every time and just becomes second nature to you, so you know where everything is.
So I think we should probably get to our little tip of the day part. We're going to talk about the most basic essential gear list, no matter where you're going, the basics that you bring. And for me, that is, I bring 2 bodies, so I'll bring my 5D4, my 5D3. I'll bring one of my telephoto lenses, whether it's my Sigma 500 or the Canon 70D to 200. and then a wide. So those are my go-tos, and wherever I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, unless I have something absolutely specific to bring, those are always in my bag. And then I have multiple batteries. I don't really use too many like solar charging devices. I'm not typically in the backcountry very long, so I don't need to worry about that too much. But I pack lots of batteries and make sure I've got a lens cloth and some cleaning stuff in case stuff gets nasty. And that's it.
Yeah, so I carry ultimately the same thing. I travel with a video camera as well. So I carry a red Epic Dragon, and then I have a Canon EF adapter for that camera body, so I can interchange all my Canon lenses onto my red and utilize it that way. I carry a 5D Mark IV, and I carry a Canon 1DX Mark II for my camera bodies. And just like Jess, I end up having to carry, you know, endless amounts of batteries because I shoot a lot and I'm going through, especially video, that eats up a lot more battery time than photography does. So that means I have to carry chargers, which is always part of my standard gear list.
Oh yeah, chargers and camera cards too.
Yep, camera. I carry a little hard case, a little Pelican hard case. Yep, just like that one for all my media cards. Same exact one.
They're waterproof. You can step on them. I've run them over. They've fallen out of trees, and this is worth its money in gold. It's like $20.
Yeah, 20 or $25. It's totally worth it.
You can get them with different sleeves, so if you use the CF cards or anything like that, it'll fit them. But this is like a godsend.
No doubt.
Protects everything.
No doubt. Again, for video, I end up having to carry a set of Bluetooth earbuds. I carry a plug-in set of earbuds in case my Bluetooth goes bad or, they get wet or something. I have a backup pair of earbuds. I always carry lens wipes with me. I carry a shotgun mic, a small one for a DSLR.
I carry a shotgun.
There you go. And also carry a wireless mic system. And I believe that's pretty much the essentials. Obviously, you don't have to carry a tripod and a fluid head or a ball head for photography, but it also helps. So I either carry a tripod or a monopod with me just to help stabilize things when I need that camera stability.
Yeah, mine's back there. I use the Manfrotto B-Free sticks. They're carbon. They're super, super light, and they strap on the side of my bag really easy. So that's usually my go-to tripod if I'm heading out anywhere. Yeah. But we should bring Sam in. We're about halfway through, and I want to...
Already? Wow.
Yeah, we need to talk to Sam. So we're going to get him in. Let's see here. So Sam Soholt is a professional outdoors photographer, more than likely.
Sam.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, everybody.
Seeing his work, you're well respected by everybody, and we're happy that you're joining us today.
No, I'm glad to be here. And the one thing I learned in the last 20 minutes or so is that you two are far more organized than I am when it comes to camera gear.
No, she's more organized than I am.
I still use whatever backpack that I have with me that day, and everything is wrapped in like extra shirts and just like jammed into whatever, which is probably the reason I had to send in my Mark IV to get fixed last week. So,
have you ever had to wrap a lens in a pair of underwear?
Oh yeah. Actually, I prefer it.
That's one way to ensure that no one's going to steal your lens.
That's right.
Especially if they're dirty.
Yeah, or maybe TSA won't dig through your bag so much either.
Yeah. No, like socks, like lenses in like big socks and stuff. Oh yeah, I've done it all.
Perfect.
But, yeah.
So, Sam, you've been shooting photography in the outdoor industry for several years now. What are some of the brands and some of the major influences that you've published photos for in your career so far?
Yeah, so my very first professional shoot, I got hired by Remington Arms Company to go shoot a new product seminar. And then kind of through that, I met a bunch of editors and writers and stuff. And so my first, after a couple of years of doing stuff like that, Peterson's Hunting Magazine hired me to go up to British Columbia. And my first big, non-product seminar shoot was the it was the Joe Rogan cover for Peterson's Hunting Magazine when he went up and killed a moose up in BC. So, and if people are watching and listening, like it was, if you remember the cover where Joe's got the big moose leg over his shoulder, that's one of my shots. But yeah, and then since then I've had a few more covers, Wildfowl Magazine and Eastman's Hunting Journal, and but yeah, I do a lot at one of my biggest clients is Yeti, so I do a lot of work for them. I just, anybody who wants to hire me in the outdoor industry, I've worked for. So, no, it's been good.
I remember the Joe Rogan cover shot, and as I recall, there was something about that feature story that really sort of ignited this organic way of existence for the hunting community. Is that right? I mean, it was all about, shoot to kill and kill to eat and all that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I remember that being a pretty big deal in the industry for a while, and it actually sort of trended and kind of established a new way of thinking in our culture.
Yeah. So the year before, Peterson's had done it was the second annual Meat Eater issue, and so the first year, I don't remember who shot the photo, but it was a deer steak on a big knife, and there was blood and deer hair and stuff on it, and that was the cover photo, was just this big deer steak on a knife. And then when I shot it, they wanted to add more of the human characteristic in it, and Joe had just recently got into hunting, and so he seemed like a good spokesperson to kind of start that movement. And so we shot that photo, and then it was just a photo of him, and then it just said "eat what you kill" or "kill what you eat." One of the two wordings.
It works going either way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely started the conversation on a much broader level, like of why people hunt, and got people talking about it rather than just the typical grip and grin type photo and big deer, whatever that has been the past 50 years of outdoor magazines. So it was cool to be part of that, and it was definitely a good launching point for my career.
And just recently, you were with a huge hunting camp, right, over in Hawaii.
Yes.
And you were shooting them all hunting axis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what was that about?
So that was, it was just kind of a hunting camp style, like more of just a big group of guys that wanted to go hunt axis deer.
Nice.
And I was down there shooting photos for Yeti, and we did the trip last year, and then this year we added a couple guys. So it was Joe Rogan, Cameron Haynes, John Dudley, Shane Dorian, who's actually a big wave surfer, but I'll come back to him. Shane Dorian, Adam Greentree, Ben O'Brien, who works at Yeti.
Was his wife there too, Kimmy?
Yep. Kimmy was there, and then John Dudley's wife, Sharon, was there, and I feel like Remy Warren was there. Nice. So yeah, it was an awesome group of people on the island, and everyone was just chasing deer around. There's a lot of deer on Lanai, so if you blow one stock, you can pretty much just put your binos up and go, oh, there's another one, and then just keep going.
So were you the only solo shooter there? You were just the photographer?
Yep, I was just a photographer. So I
were
was
you like on a walkie-talkie, and they're like, "We got one," and you have to run to one side of the island.
that did happen quite a bit. Like I'd get a text. Like Shane would be like, "Hey, Sammy, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Where are you at?" And then I'd have one of the guides come pick me up, and I'd go over and shoot photos of Shane with a buck that he knocked down, and then I'd hop back in the truck and go, help somebody else drag a deer out or what,
nice.
Whatever it took. But
did they help you drag yours out? Because you got a pretty nice one there too.
I did, yeah. I got pretty lucky. I got a little bit of time for myself to hunt, and it was funny. So last year I shot a buck in this like big flat, and the deer that I shot this year was only about 200 yards from where I shot my deer last year. So
wow,
that's become my spot.
Sure. So there were quite a few, let's call them big names from the outdoor industry and spokespeople that have represented brands and companies all over the map. And so, this was obviously a really good opportunity, but that opportunity came from, experiences you've had with these people before. So, talking to viewers that are looking, that often are inquisitive about getting into the industry, talk about how one experience leads to another for you in your career.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's how my entire career was built. So I said my first professional shoot, my first professional photo shoot was for Remington, but I met the media relations guy for Remington, and he's also the media relations guy for Timney Triggers. I met him because he was John Veer, who owns Timney Triggers. John was on a bear hunt. Chris Ellis was on the bear hunt with him, and I was the guy filming the hunt. And so like everything that I've done has just been networking. So each job I meet a new person or a new group or a new editor or a new writer or whoever it is. And then that, I do my best to create a relationship with those people. And then that leads to the next job. And then you get enough of those, interactions with people, you start to your phone just keeps ringing, which is a great problem. Yeah, it's a great problem to have. So in every single, shoot or gig or, opportunity that I had to meet people that would possibly hire me to do something, I made it a point to make sure that they knew who I was and, did whatever it took to do the job right, and just kind of kept snowballing from doing that.
I think that's important, and we've talked about that in both episodes leading into this one. And I think it's probably going to come up redundantly over and over again. And we can't emphasize that enough. All three of us, shoot for some of the same brands. We shoot for lots of different brands. So two things. One is that there's room for a lot of people out there, because there are a lot of brands that are, especially with social media, on the market, and it being one of the hot items or platforms and catalysts to help brand some of these new companies up and coming. There's lots of room for people. Secondly, it's all about relationships. Not only do you have to be a good photographer and professional at that, you have to be a good public relations person. You have to understand, friendships and relationships and all those things. And I don't think it's something you can fake. Obviously, you guys, I met both of you guys in the outdoor industry. You're both great people. I'm always feel when I'm around you guys, I'm always comfortable. So to me, that's a part of character that you have to build these relationships to begin your career.
Well, so many of the jobs that we get too, it's not just picking something up and taking it to your studio. You're spending an extensive amount of time with somebody, sometimes in conditions that are less desirable. So you really need to be able to work with people as a team and get along. And you can't just go out in the woods for 5 days with people you don't like. So that's not going to be productive for anything. So
that's a huge point.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
having a personality is part of it, I guess.
Yeah. And I think
being able to accept people.
Yeah. I think for probably all of us, the ability to have so much experience in the outdoors and in, whatever facet of the outdoor industry it would be, because we had all of that experience previous to being photographers and videographers, we have the experience. We know what it's like to be out there just doing the activity that the people are out there trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then we have, after that, honed our craft as photographers and videographers. And so we know what shots to get in certain situations and know how to act in certain situations. If you couldn't just drop me on a mountain with, like skiers and expect me to figure that out. Like I wouldn't even know where to begin, but put me on a mountain with guys that are calling elk and I can get that figured out. So
yeah, that's great. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Being familiar with the activity that you're photographing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having so much experience in the outdoors and just being passionate about it, obviously that's something that's been part of your life for so long. And now that you're at a really comfortable level with your job, you've taken on a whole new realm as a professional and became like a public advocate for the public lands. And
I decided I didn't have enough projects, so I built a really cool fort that I'm sitting in right now. I think yeah, I think growing up, in the outdoors and stuff, I think I just felt like I owed it to the outdoor community who's given so much to me to be at least a small voice in the, raising awareness about public lands specifically, but access and habitat and all of those types of things. And I got so fired up about it, I turned a full-size school bus into my rolling hunting camp and am traveling the country, talking about public lands and talking to people in, all over the country, and just, letting people know that there's things that they can do to help protect the vast wilderness that we have.
When we first, actually, I think I started talking to you right as you started building the bus, maybe it was like 2 ATAs ago.
Yeah. So I had just bought it. I bought it New Year's Eve in 2016. And then we met in person for the first time at ATA about a week later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, you're going to do what? But it was really fun to watch you, and it was nice that you shared your progress building it with everybody. And I enjoyed putting my 2 cents in every time you asked a question about where you should buy something.
Right. Yeah, I asked for a lot of input, over the course of the build, and it helped a lot. There was a lot of stuff that I was like, how would you guys do this? And then I'd go sit on the deck and drink a beer and just let the comments roll in, and then I'd go back out and start building again.
So, what has been your biggest, what's been your most proud moment with the bus so far?
I think early on when I kind of had people follow along with the build and stuff on Instagram, but I hadn't really posted much in anywhere else than that. And the day that I was going to leave, I posted kind of a series of photos of, it was like 15 photos of the build, and then like the finished bus that you just had up a little bit ago. And it was almost immediate that like my inbox started getting flooded with people who wanted to ask me questions about it. And then like wide open spaces. They were like, hey, we saw your post. We're writing an article about it. Do you want to add anything? And then so like on day one, it went out to, 400,000 people. And I was like, wow, this might be bigger than I had even imagined. And then just with Outdoor Life being on board to help share the story, like I was definitely proud of that. An organization that's been around as long as them that wanted to help share the message and show off the bus and everything. That was pretty cool.
I think it says a lot about, what you do and what your whole, your mantra is in terms of, the direction you're going in the industry and the ambassadorship that you've created to be a, really a spokesman for public land and protecting those things. So I think it says a lot about your character and the direction you're going. Hopefully that turns into a trend, and the big picture is more people do things like this and help protect the public access, public lands, from national forests to national parks to BLM land and everything in between. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And my whole goal with the project was, so I try to stay, I like on personal, one-on-one conversations, I'll get really deep into it. But from when I'm portraying the whole message, I try to be at a very elevated level, because it's really easy to go down a rabbit hole of public land politics and that type of thing. And my goal is just to have people go, what is he out there talking about? and then for me to be able to educate people about things that are going on and ways that they can get involved, whether it be joining a conservation organization or just, following along with a Backcountry Hunters and Anglers newsletter, or, so they can see what's going on in public land politics and that type of thing. But it was just the bus definitely catches people's eyes. And that was my entire goal with this whole thing, was just to get more people talking about the issue. And I think so far I've done a good job. Hopefully, in the next year I can continue that.
I think that I would say that people don't realize how much of our jobs depend on access to public land. Mm-hmm. Not every time we're out photographing are we on like some really great private ranch or something like that. And a lot of our access is dependent on companies and individuals who have a voice, like the photographers, like ourselves, and videographers. It depends on us putting it out there. So, I mean, kudos to you. You've done a really great job. I would say that the whole movement for public land has just completely exploded over the last year or so, and your bus is a big part of that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think going back to the Joe Rogan cover shot and what you're doing now, when you combine those two concepts, then I think what it has done, it's created a whole lot more acceptance for hunting, which is really important, because obviously we're always fighting politics, be it, anti-hunting or anti-guns or whatever it is. And these things that you're doing help shed a more pleasant light and a more acceptable light on how we live in the hunting culture, because we're doing things for the right reasons. We're doing things organically. We're following the rules. We eat what we kill. We want to help protect the lands we all hunt and fish on public lands. Every single one of us at some point has either utilized or still utilizes public land for some, variation of what we do outdoors. So, again, like Jess said, kudos to you, Sam, for being a part of that. That takes a commitment. Most people are looking at their careers and how am I going to make more money doing this? And while you do make a living in the outdoor world as a photographer and a videographer as well, you've carved out a niche for yourself that creates just an important aspect in our world. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you guys are going to make my head big. I appreciate all the compliments. It's been a really fun and rewarding project, and I think it's, now that there's a lot of eyes on it, I think moving forward we can do some really cool stuff.
Are there any future big plans for the bus? Like, how is it traveling with all your gear now that you can just sleep next to it, cook next to it, go to the bathroom next to it?
Awesome. Yeah, no, it's great. Like I was telling you guys before we went live, last night so I don't like to drive when it's super warm out. The bus is just hot. I don't have an air conditioner. I can open windows and stuff, but to keep the engine running cool, I have to open a valve that runs coolant basically right past my leg the whole time, and then it blows hot air. It's like a furnace at all times. And so I drive at night a lot when it's in the spring and summer months. And so I drove last night for 3.5 hours. And I was like, all right, this seems like a good spot to stop. And I just pulled off and went back and fell asleep for a few hours and got up and kept going. But it's pretty nice having everything, all of my gear kind of sorted in one spot. That's nice. Because I've been, even before the bus, I haven't had a permanent residence since May of 2014. So I've been on the road a bit.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting in your bus. I haven't been in it yet, even though you come and go in Fort Collins. I'm looking forward to doing maybe a hunting project with you maybe this fall. We got
to make it happen. Yeah, we got to make it happen. Yeah.
So when I get on your bus, I'm gonna go all the way to the back, because when I was a kid, I always wanted to sit in the back seat, but it was always taken by the bullies. So I'm gonna go all the way to the back and sit in the back seat when we go down the road.
I think you have to lay down in the back, right?
Yeah, the back is a queen bed. So
even better.
At least
even better. Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jake.
Well, I was just going to ask you, do we have more time? How much time?
Yeah, we've got another 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So what have been some of your favorite projects? Have we already talked about that?
On the bus, or just favorite, in general?
Photography. What are your favorite things to do in photography? Yeah.
I really like the adventure trips. I've been, fortunately, I've been all over the world. Went to New Zealand last May, and that trip was just unbelievable. I've been to British Columbia a whole bunch, up to Alaska. But I really like it's, how do I describe it? So, a lot of these trips I go on are with Ben O'Brien. If you know him, he works over at Yeti. And we always talk about, a lot of people go on vacation to lay on the beach or, just relax for a week. And it seems like every time, we're working still, but it's kind of a vacation to go do these trips. And every time it's
You're not
way
sitting in a cubicle.
no, everything we do is way harder than normal life. And then when you go back to your whatever your routine is, you just feel grateful for like the ease of that. Like you can go back and relax instead of having to leave what you're doing to go relax. So you go and you put your mind and body through punishment, and then you go back and it's just like, oh, this is just great. So I think that's one of my favorite things that photography has allowed me to do is, go to these crazy places and go do things that I would have never been able to do just, on my own.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like those jobs too, really, they like humble you. Like just being able to see some of the places that we've been able to see and experience these interactions with animals or friends and things like that. Coming back to regular life where you're just sitting at like a stoplight and you're like, wow, like last week I was sitting on top of a mountain with nothing around for miles and miles and miles watching some amazing beast do something. And then you're just sitting there like at the red light. Like, come on.
And you look over and someone's texting and vaping in their car and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. It puts a lot of things in perspective, which is, which is a juxtaposition of being a photographer or videographer. You're adding perspective to something. So it's neat to see that cycle.
What about your equipment, Sam? What are your what cameras do you carry and what lenses do you carry?
Yeah. So, well, we were texting about this the other day, but up until about a month ago, I'd been a Canon guy through and through, and so I ran a 5.
You're not going to say it, are you?
I'll get there. So I ran a 5D Mark III for 4 years, and then last May I went to the 5D4, and then run an all Canon glass. So a lot of people ask me like, hey, what lenses do you use? What camera would you use? And I would say just get what you can afford, and then that you only really need 3 lenses. You need a workhorse. So my workhorse is a 24-105 f4. You need a wide, and so I run. Honestly, the lens that has made me the most money is a $300 Rokinon 14 millimeter. It's cheap. It's full manual, but it takes an awesome photo. And then a 70-200 2.8. And with those 3 lenses, I can shoot 99% of the type of photo that I want to shoot. So that's mainly what I've been carrying for the last few years. And then if I'm on if I'm filming a hunt, I usually have a 100 or 400 with me just to reach out a little bit more. But I did buy the Sony A7R III about a month ago, and
you didn't.
I know.
Don't say you did. No, I'm kidding.
Mine's blown. No, and I've to be honest, I've been really happy with it. The low light capability is great. The clarity, 42 megapixel is great. I could go to the 50 megapixel Canon. What is it? The 5DSR or whatever.
The 5D RS. Yeah.
Yeah. 5D RS. Yeah. But I wanted the video capabilities of the Sony because I'm doing more filming now with trying to produce content around the bus. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm pretty happy with the Sony too. So I haven't run any Sony glass yet, so I haven't been able to use the full functionality of the autofocus system, but that'll probably be happening soon.
Yeah, I think, I shot Sony camcorders for years, and it always had like Nikon, it has a cooler. I don't know about the DSLRs because I'm not familiar with them yet. But, when I switched over to Canon, Sony started taking the camcorder technology, putting it into DSLR technology, competing with the Nikons and the Canons of the world, and they've really stepped up their game. Their sensor is unbelievably high resolution. The only thing I can say about the reason I'm staying put is because they're so competitive. All these brands are so competitive that when one brand, leapfrogs way in front of the other two, one of the other brands leapfrogs the next year, and they just keep playing leapfrog back and forth. So,
it sounds like Canon is going to drop a full frame mirrorless camera this fall. So I'm trying.
Why not?
Right? Yeah. Right. To be personally honest, like I'm surprised that Canon isn't like, all right, we're just going to make all our lenses with an E-mount too if you want it. And then they would just own the game. You know, like, go ahead and buy their body. We don't care. You can still use all our glass.
There's probably somebody at Canon watching this right now going,
yeah, exactly.
Because it's probably already sitting on a prototype shelf as we speak. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I think one of the important things, for our viewers to know is that technology advances so quickly. Lenses, not so much, because you can shoot lenses forever, and as long as there's image stabilization and high quality glass, you can do a lot of things with it for a long time. But the camera bodies themselves, I would say every 2 years a camera goes obsolete, and you got to upgrade to either be cool and stay with the crowd, or to just upgrade because you have to, and you're a professional and you want your images to keep up with everyone else.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to know that you need to choose the camera that is going for what you need to do with it. Like for me, if I was only doing photos, I would probably just stick with Canon like 100% because I know it. The functionality is great. The colors are amazing. But moving more, like doing a little bit more video and photography, it's hard not to use all of the things that Sony has to offer. So
we have a couple questions for you, Sam, about your experience with cameras. Jordan wants to know, have you ever shot or played around with the Red Dragon?
I have not. I have never even seen a Red in person.
What?
Then direct your comments to Jake.
That's not true. That's not true. I have seen one in person. I've never used one.
We'll have to change that. We hunt together. You're going to have to learn Red.
That's fine. I'd love to learn Red. Yeah.
And then Bradley wants to know, I think it was Bradley, down further. Yeah. What are some makeshift tips or ways that you deal with wind noise out in the field?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I always use a windscreen. When I'm filming, I film a lot for Jason Matzinger in September, and whenever I'm filming him, I always have a windscreen on my shotgun mic, and then
which helps a lot.
Just windscreens, really. I mean, there's no trick to get around the wind. Get behind a hill, get behind a tree, hold the camera a little bit closer to you to kind of shelter it a little bit, but it's tough. The wind noise is a tough thing.
I think having a wireless mic, when you're running 2 channels of audio on a wireless mic, you have the microphone closer to, the voice box on a human, and you can isolate that opposed to having a shotgun, which is more directional or omni-radiant, and it picks up all the sounds from everything. So sometimes you can isolate, differentiating between a wireless lav mic and a shotgun.
Yep, for sure.
Nice.
They got any more questions?
I think those are all the questions for now. If anyone has any more questions for Sam, post them up. Anything coming down the pipe for you this fall? Any big moves with the public land, or any big hunts you're looking forward to?
It'll be a busy fall again. I'm actually on my way to go do a public land turkey hunt right now with a couple buddies out in western South Dakota. So that should be pretty fun. And then, just kind of get it figured out from there. I'll be filming for Matzinger again a little bit this fall, and then my own personal public land elk hunt. And then depending on if Jake and I can get the dates hammered out, I think I've got 3 deer hunts in October and then 2 in November. So all public land stuff. So, and all of that, I'll be shooting video and photography on all that. So.
And you'll be given the GPS coordinates on your public land stuff.
No. Nope.
No, I hope we can work that out, Sam. I think I've got a place that I've been hunting for over 20 years on public land that I think you would appreciate, and I think it's ideal for what you're doing, and it's one of my favorite places on the planet. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can work that out.
Yeah, it'd be a blast. So we gotta make that work.
Definitely.
Yeah. How about you guys? Jake, you're going to Australia?
I'm leaving day after tomorrow. Yeah, day after tomorrow for Australia. Yeah, I've got a bunch of cool stuff coming down the pipe this summer and this fall as well. Argentina, Bolivia, Pakistan.
You are going to Pakistan.
I am.
One of the
Yeah.
first times you and I ever met, you tried to send me to Pakistan.
Oh,
One of the
yeah.
first times I ever talked to Jake, he's like, "Would you ever be interested in going to Pakistan?" I'm like, "No."
I'm like, that's on my bucket list, and I've been denied twice. I've been denied visas twice ironically, because of my camera gear and the media, the media identity that I have. So I think we're going to apply for the visa a little differently this time, try to get that through, and then I'm headed to Pakistan. It's definitely one of the top 2 places on my bucket list in the world to go.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. How about you, Jess? Are you going back out to Montana this year?
Yep. Beginning of summer, Jake and I will be in Texas doing a job. And then at the end of June, I head out to Montana to our cabin with the family for a while and hang out and do some stuff, shoot some fishing photos. And then I think nothing until fall, and probably lots of stuff around Pennsylvania. And then maybe Jake and I will meet up in Nebraska.
Cool. Yeah. I'd love to see you shoot another one in Nebraska.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, one last question for you, Sam. What has been, if you can isolate one photo as either career changing or your favorite photo of all time? Maybe those are 2 different questions because, one can be more personal and one can be more professional. Tell us a little bit about the 2 photos that have changed your life, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think the career-changing photo for sure was the Rogan cover. That one just put my name out there in front of a lot more people. And the favorite photo, I get asked that quite a bit, and I honestly don't have one, and I don't know if it's the same with you two, but have you ever seen the meme of the creative process? Where it's like
creative process. I don't think so.
So it's like
now I'm curious though.
So I'll text it to you both, but it's just a list, and it's like, oh, I love this. It's okay. I don't really like it anymore. I hate it. And then like 6 months later, it's like, I guess that's all right. So most of the time when I shoot, like if I shoot a photo that I really like, I like it for about 15 minutes. And then even after I get it edited, I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then I go back and look at it, and I just like, I don't know. Most of my photos, I feel like I could have done that better. I think I'm hypercritical of myself. So I don't even think I could pick a single photo of mine that has been my favorite. I think I have some that I like, but I don't think I can single it down to one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you post that meme?
I can find it.
Well, just post it after we're done. Post it on the Facebook.
Comments.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think people would be curious to see what that. I know I would be.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I can't answer the second question.
That's okay. The reason I brought it up is because I think oftentimes, even going back through old photos now, when you're searching for content between jobs or in the summertime during the off season or whatever it is, and you're lacking content, you go back into old photos. I'm starting to find some things that I didn't recognize 5 years ago that are starting to pop up with me now that are becoming some of my favorite photos, and they really have nothing to do with a profession. They're not professional shots, or they may not be focused towards anything in particular, but they're more personable, and they become my personal favorites. So that's what sort of inspired that question.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, thanks so much for joining us. If anybody wants to follow Sam's work, if you're not already, you should be. It's at Sam Soholt on Instagram. Yep. And he's also got you have a website for the bus, I think.
I just started a YouTube channel, so it's just my name. Sam Soholt is the channel, but I've got a few videos up there. And then over the next couple weeks, I'm going to be posting all of the content. Like I've got another 8 videos, I think, that are that have already been done, that have been posted other places, but I'm just trying to centralize all the information surrounding the bus. So nice. Yeah.
And if you see the bus going down the road, honk, moon.
That's right.
Whatever,
honk,
right?
Wave. Yeah.
And somewhere on one of your profiles too, you have links for really awesome t-shirts that you're selling for benefiting public land cause. So definitely hook yourself up with one of those.
Yeah. Publiclandtees.com. So $5 from every shirt goes towards public lands conservation.
Nice.
Very good. Yeah. Thanks for all that you do out there, Sam. I think I can speak for everyone that cares. We really appreciate everything that you do.
Hey, thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure to be on the show.
Awesome. Well, you have a good day, Sam. We'll see you later.
Yeah, you too.
Later, brother.
See ya.
So what's left? We've got the product snapshot.
We do.
And you will have to talk more about this than I, because I do not use this pack, though. Every time I see it, I get more and more interested in it.
Yeah, I think one of the most common questions that I get outside of camera gear itself is what kind of backpack do I use in the backcountry? And while this isn't an expedition size pack or anything like that, it is built for day use. So whether you're, hunting out of your house or hunting out of a base camp or anything like that, and you're going out and coming back to a centralized location, I like to use the Low Pro Flip Side Trek 450 AW. AW means all weather. It's an extremely versatile pack. It's a flip sided pack so that you flip it upside down and lay it on its backside. The belly compartment opens up into a padded camera case, so I can put a 1DX Mark II with a lens mounted to it. Then I can, yep, there you go. Then I can add more lenses in the different compartments. There's little Velcro padded. The pads themselves are Velcro pockets, so you can put batteries or cards or lens wipes or small items in there so that they're secure. And then when you flip it over, it has a top compartment. It has a compartment for an iPad or a small 13-inch, say a MacBook Pro, to protect that. And then in the top compartment, I always carry another big lens with me, or even a go-to camera where I can take my pack off, go into the top compartment, grab a 5D Mark IV and a 2470 or whatever it is. So it's really convenient. It has an all-weather protective backpack cover that's built inside, so you just unzip this compartment, pull it over, and it's protected from the rain. It's very comfortable. It has padded hip straps with pockets, so you can put little things in the side strap, so they're accessible. And it has two water bottle compartments on both sides. Typically, I put a tripod on one side and a water bottle on the other. But yeah, and if I have to carry rain gear or extra jackets or whatever, it has long enough straps around the front that I can just roll those up and put those into those straps, strap it down, and I'm ready to go. So pretty much, I mean, my flip side trek has been, anywhere from Mongolia to Africa to the Yukon to Alaska and everywhere in between. And I find it to be, it's probably not the perfect pack because I don't think there is such a thing yet, but it is the closest thing I have found to perfection. And I've been a Low Pro user for my entire career for over 20 years. And I love the brand. They know what they're doing. They design packs specifically for photographers and videographers. So if you're interested in a nice pack, check out the Low Pro Flipside Trek 450 AW. They make a 250, a 350, and a 450. The 450 is the largest, and I like that because I can carry all my gear in it.
But even at the largest size, it's not cumbersome. I've noticed, like, things that bother me about packs is if I go to sit down, since I'm a smaller person, if I go to sit down and the pack comes up like over my shoulders because it hits the ground, that bugs me. This pack, even the largest pack, isn't cumbersome. It's like specifically designed for moving around outside. The hip straps are completely pivotal, especially when you're hiking with a lot of gear, to displace some of the weight. So one of the nicer things about this, I mean, if you've even hauled that up into a tree, like these packs, they're not cumbersome, but they still do a really extensive job protecting and carrying all your stuff.
Can you show us the frontal shot of that pack again? It comes in a very organic color. So like Jess said, if you hang it in a tree, if you're a whitetail hunter, it blends in with the tree. If you're doing backcountry, it's short enough from top to bottom that I wear it when I ride a horse. And sometimes I'll be on a horse for 8 or 10 hours at a time, and it never gets in my way. If I need to, I can flip it around, take one shoulder strap off, flip it around, flip it upside down, open the belly, grab a camera, get a shot from the horse, put it back on. Like Jess said, it's very convenient, non-cumbersome, and I highly recommend that pack.
Nice. So, thanks everybody for joining us for episode 3. I can't believe we're on the 3rd episode already. I feel like we
We're
just
on to 4
started.
now.
I kind of feel like a veteran now. I felt really comfortable moving the screen around, putting things up. So hopefully I wasn't making anyone dizzy this time.
Well, I really appreciate you getting everything organized. You know, I've been on the road for a few days, and I was really, I mean, if you had seen me an hour ago before the show started, I was scrambling to get everything set up. I'm literally sitting on the floor at the Nashville airport. So, yeah, thanks for doing everything.
No problem. So we will put up a promo for the next show. And if anybody, again, wants us to send them these little awesome stickers, you can put them on your coolers. You can put them on your gear packs. They're good for outdoor. They're weather resistant. We sent a couple out, so we'll be happy to send some more out to you guys. Just message either one of us. Yeah.
I was going to say one more thing. If you guys want to learn some things and suggest some topics for the show, please feel free and interact with us. We really want to hear from you. We're doing this for you guys. I mean, the more we hear, the more we understand how we want to format our show, the more relevant information we can get out there to you. So get on this post, in the thread, in the comments, ask some questions, tell us what you want to see, and we'll try to get to it as soon as we can.
And again, follow Sam's work on Instagram at Sam Soholt. That's where he puts up most of his information. He's got the new YouTube, and check out his publiclandtees.com.
Yep.
All right. So see you guys next time.
Bye. Bye, Jess.
Bye, Jake.